just get settled. You can leave that screen on. I'm gonna sit on my knees. If you want to sit cross-legged or on a block, I want you to find the position that's comfortable for you. Just take a moment to kind of wiggle it out, move those shoulders, and then you can let those arms be heavy, the hands be heavy. Gaze soft at the floor, maybe close those eyes. Taking a moment here to transition from the work and the school day into our practice. And I want you to take a moment and hear the sounds around you. Not judging them, just observing them. What's there? And move your focus to your skin. Maybe the skin on your hands. And notice the temperature of the air. And maybe notice if the air is flowing or if it's still. And notice the contact point between your hands and your clothing, or your hands and the mat, depending where they're resting. What does that feel like? Is it scratchy? Is it comfy? Is there a texture? And move down to where your body is connected with the mat. What do you notice about the space between your body and the mat? Are you pulling away or sinking in? Can you give yourself permission to sink into the mat? Firm up your solid sitting ground. And from that solid connection with the ground, begin to build your spine up nice and tall. Allow those vertebrae to stack. Your head and neck to sit on top. Finding that tall marionette posture. And then scan your body slowly from head all the way down, slow through your toes, noticing what's there. Is there tension, throbbing? Are there any pins and needles already? Getting them with my toes. What do you feel in your body today? Maybe noticing how fast or slow your thoughts are. Maybe your thoughts are interrupting your body scan. Just go back to the scan. We're just noticing our starting point. How do we feel at the beginning of practice? All together, let's exhale the air from our lungs. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. And we'll zip up those lips. Begin to move the breath a little deeper and a little longer, just through the nose. And if you're starting to feel pins and needles in any kind of sitting position, just feel free to shift your seat. Because pins and needles, yeah, we want to stay, we want to breathe in stillness, but that's a sign that, shifting would be a good thing to do to your body. And then let's bring the chin to the chest, open up the back of the neck, and begin to make some neck circles. It feels good to go all the way around. Do that. If it feels better for you to skip the back look and just go across, then do that. Just notice any snap, crackle, or crispy sounds. Those are safe. If one part is a little sticky, maybe you want to stay there longer. And then change the rotation the other way. Just checking in with the neck. Let it know, hey, we're not just looking forward at a screen or a speaker. We're actually going to move our neck around. And then you can pause next time your hands at your chest. Then slowly open your eyes, bring your head up. We're gonna interlace our fingers together. Inhale deep. And exhale, flip those palms and push your arms away. Nice straight arms, relax those shoulders. And then keeping the elbows straight, let's move the arms up only as high as the elbows want to stay straight. So they might not go straight up. As soon as those elbows want to bend or the shoulders want to lock, stop moving and hold there and breathe. Remember, we're going for sensation. We're going for a safe stretch. And part of our practice is to accept where we are right now and know that good body change takes time. And exhale, let's bring those arms out to the side. If you have room in your house, if you don't, feel free to modify. We're gonna stop halfway and push those invisible walls away. Really activate those arms. And a couple of years ago, I did this sequence a lot. I probably made this joke many weeks in a row about we're just pretending we're in Star Wars and we're separating those two walls in the garbage crusher. Really activate those arms. And then let's bring the right arm over top of the left. Give yourself a great big hug. Wrap those fingers around. Rest those shoulders coming down. You'll deserve a little hug today. Option to stay here, or there's an option to raise the elbows up. Maybe you want to bring the forearms back to back, really pressing them together. Or perhaps you want to take this top hand, reach a little bit in front, and see if you can wrap it around the bottom hand. So maybe those fingers reach over to the palms. And whether you're giving yourself a hug, you have the forearms back to back, or you're in eagle arms, think about the back of your upper back. Squeeze those arms together and see if the sensation changes. And then maybe lift those arms up just a millimeter as the sensation change. And experiment with that subtle movement of the elbows up and down or the squeezing of the forearms together to see if that changes the engagement in your back. And find a place that feels good to your body today. And we'll slowly release those arms. Let's roll those shoulders forward, great big circles. Maybe allowing the breath to move those shoulders around. We're gonna do that on the other side. So let's interlace the fingers again. This time the opposite thumb goes on top. Inhale. Exhale, push those arms away. Keeping those elbows straight, slowly move those arms up. We're rotating the shoulders. The arms begin to bend, stay where you are. And wherever you are, feel that breath move through your nose. And then let's reach out those arms to the side. Again, push away those invisible garbage chute walls from Star Wars. Find the clip on YouTube if you don't know what I'm talking about. It's kind of funny. And then this time, left arm goes on top into that great big hug. I have to think about that for a moment. Give yourself a little hug. Option to stay here, option to raise the elbows. Maybe bring the forearms back to back. Or take that top hand, reach it in front, and see if you can reach it around. Maybe squeeze the elbows. Sometimes that helps a little bit. It took me a while when I first started doing it, a couple of years, to find this wrap with the hands at the top. Slow, steady build of mobility for me in the shoulders. And take time for you to explore. If you move the elbows up, maybe you shift them down, squeeze those arms together a little bit differently. Does it change the sensation in your upper back or your shoulders? Be curious. And let's release those arms. Bring them down and roll the shoulders forward a few times. Right. Let's come down to tabletop. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Let's begin to move our whole body by rolling over the wrists in a circle. And then when you come back, maybe you want to roll over your sit bones. Makes figure eight. So this is a bit of free movement here. And what you're doing is you move in some circles or figure eights around your wrists, around your sit bones, is you're checking in. Where am I stretching? Where is taking a bit of strength? Are there any places my body's like, ooh, that's not good today? Maybe avoid that. Are there any places where it's like, oh, I really like that stretch. I'm just gonna stay here for a moment. Give my body what it wants right now. Okay, and then we'll come back to stillness and tabletop and find some cat-cow. So let's drop the belly down, raise the sit bones, chest through, gaze up. Really gonna embrace that cow. Let that stomach be heavy like a cow's udder. And then exhale, push the ground away, begin to arch the spine just like a black cat, just like Halloween. And then relax the head and neck. Really find that arch. And then exhale, find the cow. And you can move back and forth between these at your own pace. I encourage you to try and find the peak of the pose though. So instead of moving rapidly, you're gonna move slow and really find that end pose where you feel the stretch, you feel the mobility change. So much of yoga is being curious and being open to knowing that our body changes every day depending how much sleep we got, how much water we drank. Is our job really busy? Is it slow? Have I seen my friends lately? All those things affect how we feel in our movement. When you're ready, you're gonna come into stillness, tuck those back toes, push the front of the mat away, let those knees float, and come up into your down dog. Pedaling out those feet, so you're bending one knee in, just moving the other one closer to straight. Feeling the sensation and stretch in the calves, while you're also probably feeling some strength building in the shoulders and the wrists. Then when you're ready, moving into stillness. I like to come up on my toes nice and high, think chest to thighs, and slowly allow my feet to roll back down to the mat. My heels don't touch, but the weight is going toward the ground. And if your heels can touch, that's awesome. I wore heels for too many years. My calves are super short. So inhale, look forward, and walk those feet to the front of the mat. Bringing the legs together, bending the knees, belly to thighs. Relax the head and neck. Maybe grab opposite hand to opposite elbow. Move your weight to the front of the foot and begin to lift those hips up until you feel a stretch in the back of the leg. And if you've lost the stretch, then I want you to rebend the legs, find the belly and the thighs, and then think about lifting the hips. What we're doing is trying to keep the stretch in the back of the legs instead of the low back here. All together, let's exhale the air from the lungs. Inhale deep. Exhale long. Push into the feet. Push to rise, sweeping those arms all the way out and up. Reaching high. And exhale, bring those hands to the heart center. Arms to your sides. Standing tall in your mountain. All together, let's exhale. Inhale deep. Exhale long.
Inhale, sweep those arms up, reaching high. Begin to squeeze the glutes, move the hips forward, and proudly move your chest back over that high jump bar. Just be a little subtle move here, but think nice proud chest toward the ceiling and then reach back with the chest and the arms. Can you breathe here? If it's tough, come out of the back bend a little bit. Check again, can you breathe? And on your next exhale, begin to forward fold. Bring all the way down. Plant the hands on the mat and let's step back with the right foot. We'll drop that right knee down, coming up into our lunge. Taking a moment to, we're gonna stick with the same theme as last week. Instead of thinking of your front leg bending, I want you to think of your back leg coming down toward the ground. The back leg wanting to shine its whole surface toward the ground. And then we're going to take the left hand on top of the left knee in the front. We're going to raise the right arm up and then keep bringing it back. We're going to flip that palm around and make a giant circle with our arm. So we're reaching the hand behind us, we're following with our eyes. Maybe you want to inhale up for the first part of the circle. Exhale the second part of the circle. And then we're going to move that rotation the other way. Move backwards. You're sweeping that arm just like a clock hand. You're going to flip the palm when it feels natural. And if you want to add the neck, you just follow, watching your hand. Now for your next rotation, we're going to plant the hands on either side of the foot. Tuck the back toes. Push the heel away to bring up that back knee. Maybe you want to make your lunge a little shorter. You go by what feels good in your body. And we're going to come up tall to our high lunge. Reach those arms up. And if you want, you can add that little back bend. Proud chest, gaze up, and you begin to lean back just a little bit, just a tiny bit. And check out your back. Then we're going to come forward, arms out to the sides or forward. We're going to lean forward onto that front foot, lean, lean, lean. And then can you pop up to your airplane or your warrior three? So airplane, your arms are to the side. Warrior three, your arms are forward. If that back leg is feeling tough, flex that back foot, push it against the invisible wall. Remember, there's also options to have your hands on the floor on some blocks. Challenge move, stay on your left foot, bend the right knee into the chest and try and stand up with the right knee coming into the chest. And slowly slide it down. We're gonna stick with that one for a few weeks here, maybe a few months, because that's a fun one to chase. Moving on one leg. Find your mountain. Close those eyes and take a moment to scan your body. How is the right side compared to the left? Can you tell how your body is building strength? Are there any places that are a little shaky or a little more burny? Because we just did a lot on that one leg. All right, all together, let's exhale the air. Inhale deep. Exhale long. Inhale and sweep those arms all the way up, reaching high. Gaze comes up. Option to squeeze the glutes, move the hips forward. Nice proud chest, split the chest and lean back over the high jump bar. I literally think of like grade 6 and learning how to high jump here. If you have no idea what I'm talking about that, feel free to message me, email me, and I'll think of another cue. All right, let's begin to forward fold. All the way down. And this time we are going to bend our knees, plant our hands, step our left foot back to find our lunge on the other side. And then taking a moment to come up, think about this back leg, and think about that back leg wanting to shine toward the mat. So someday if you were doing splits with that back leg, the top of the back leg, is it yearning toward the floor? Does the shift, the stretch sensation shift differently when you do it that way? Take the right hand on the right knee for balance. We're gonna inhale up the left arm. Exhale, begin to rotate it behind you, finding that circle. You get to move your arm, your shoulder around at its own pace today. You want to add the neck, there goes my mouse. If you want to add the neck, then you're going to follow your hand. And you can tell it's adding the neck, but it's also adding a different balance challenge, which is a little harder for me today. Let's switch the rotation the other way. Our balance can be affected by lots of things. Lack of sleep, lack of water. But we can also get it back. Paying attention to some of those things. All right, after your next rotation, let's plant both hands on the ground. Tuck the back toes, push the heel back, lift that back leg. And find your high lunge. Option to stay here, option to add the back bend, lift the chest, reach back over the Eichenbauer. Feel that breath. And coming up, arms out to the sides or in front, lean over that front foot, lean, lean, lean. Can you push yourself up to an airplane or a warrior three? You fall out, try again. Remember, we're playing with our balance, we're adding to our balance. We're not here to be perfect ballerinas and never fall out of things, because our goal is to have a healthy body, a healthy mind, and to always have fun with our practice. So let's bring that back knee into the chest, push into your standing leg and see if you can rise up on one foot. And then we'll set that foot down, finding the mountain pose. Some of the reward of yoga is in the moment, just feeling the movement, maybe after feel a little bit more calm and peaceful. Slowly building that strength and mobility and balance. But the changes you might see over time in terms of getting better at balance, being able to move on one foot where once that was challenging. All together, even though we can't see each other, let's exhale. Inhale deep. Exhale long. Inhale, sweep those arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, plant the hands, and I want you to walk back to plank on the knees. Now, if you're comfy on side plank on the feet and you want to do it 4 times, you can start there, but I'm going to start on my knees. So I'm going to take my left shin, I'm going to rotate it a quarter off the mat. I'm going to push into my left hand, my left shin, my right foot, and I'm going to come up on my side into a side plank with my shin down. So I'm pushing into my left hand, I'm pushing into my right foot. And my knee is almost light enough that maybe I can float, maybe I can play with it a little bit. See if I can just lift that shin off the ground. And then exhale, come back to plank on the knees. Let's go the other way. Let's move the right shin a quarter turn. Lean onto the right hand, left foot. We're going to reach up onto our side, kneeling plank on the other side. So spread those fingers, grip the mat with a hand, push yourself away. Maybe you can push that bottom foot into the floor. And see if you can maybe lift that shin a little bit. All right, let's come back to plank on the knees. And we're slowly going to push up down. Keep the elbows in, come all the way down to the belly, nice and slow. Forehead on the mat. We're going to bring those hands behind us, fingers pointing to the feet. We're going to tent them up like spiders. Inhale. Exhale, raise your chest and head, gaze to the ground. Maybe you want to lift those hands and reach toward the feet. Exhale, come down. Let's try that again. Inhale. Exhale, lift the chest and the head. We're using our upper back to do so. Maybe you want to lift those arms. Exhale, down. One more time. Inhale to prep. Exhale, lift the chest and head. Use that upper back. Up and down. Hands by your chest. Tuck the toes, feel the knees, and press on out to plank on the knees. Now you can do exactly what we did last time, or perhaps you want to go to a plank on the toes, and you can have those feet apart. We're going to rotate over to the left, so spin those feet over to the sides, press into the left hand, and maybe reach that right hand up. Can you lift those hips high in your plank? So instead of sagging down here, you want to lift the hips. Find the breath. You got this. This is the arm strength. My arm is shaking. Coming back to center. Either you're plank on knees or plank on toes. We have like 12 different bodies, 12 different options. And then finding your other one on the right side. Rolling over, feeling that hand connect. Reach the left hand up. Lift those hips, whether you're on your shin or your feet. Lift those hips high. Find your breath. You guys got this. And then come back to plank on the toes or the knees, and slowly to the count of 5, we're gonna come down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way to the belly. Reach those hands back. Let's rest the right cheek on the ground. And take a moment to notice the breath as your belly breathes into the mat. And sometimes this can be a little uncomfortable because the ground, the mat, is providing resistance to our diaphragm as we're breathing. But that is a good thing, because if we provide resistance to our diaphragm, it has to work harder to breathe. And that's going to allow us to take deep breaths easier when we're not on our stomach. So slowly raise your head, move your cheek to the other side that's not the left cheek to the ground. Observe your breath. Notice how it may be changing. Now that we went from those energy required side planks to laying on our belly for a little moment. And then we're going to bring our forehead to the mat. We're going to reach our right hand forward in front of us, and we're going to tent the fingers. The left hand, that can be maybe beside our chest. Maybe you want to tent the fingers or have the hand down. Inhale. Exhale. I want you to rise up. Think about using your chest and your head, but you can also use these fingertips. Maybe you want to gaze forward to the fingertips on this one. And then think about bending your left knee. Kick your butt with your left as you stay on your knees. And then exhale, let's come down. Reach forward with your left hand, tent those fingers. Right hand comes by your chest. Inhale. Exhale, lift the chest and head. Gaze forward to your tented fingers. And then bend the right knee. Kick your butt with your right heel. And then we're going to come down. Right hand reaches forward again, left hand by the chest. Inhale. Exhale, come up. Gaze comes toward the hand. Left heel's going to kick the butt. You can stay here. Maybe you want to take this left hand and reach back for that left foot. Wave it around. Can you find the heel? Can you find the foot? Is it just staring in space? That's okay. If you have your foot, you can think about pushing your foot into your hand to raise your thigh off the ground. If this does not feel good in your back or your shoulder, then go back to the step before. And then wherever you are, slowly come out. Come back to your belly. And we're gonna switch hands. Left hand goes in the front, 10th of fingers. Right hand goes by the chest. Inhale. Exhale, rise up. Gaze goes to your left hand. Right knee bends, right heel, chest to kick your butt. Option to stay. Option to reach back with your right hand, wave it around. Can you find that heel? Can you find the foot? Are you just enjoying waving around in space? If your foot connects with your hand, you want to push your foot into your hand so the back thigh raises. Check in with your breath wherever you are. And then exhale, come down. Ooh, my calf was starting to cramp there. If your calf is cramping, just point and flex your feet. Do what you need to do, get rid of any cramps. And then we are going to slowly, mindfully roll over onto our backs. But I want you to notice every point of contact with the ground. Roll slow. Can you notice when your body moves away from the mat, when it starts to reconnect with the mat? Maybe it's going on the floor. Maybe the floor is colder. Just notice all of that as you roll. And then see if you can center yourself on the mat without looking at the mat. You do that just with feeling. And then when you believe you're centered on the mat, doesn't really matter if you are, you don't need to check. We're gonna plant both feet on the mat, slightly wider than hip width. We're gonna have the knees drop together, and we're going to open those arms into a cactus. So it's like we're raising our hands, our elbows are out, making those right arms, what do you call that, a 90-degree angle to the side. So we're just letting those knees drop in, feet are wide. Arms are open into cactus in a gentle stretch. And perhaps you want to lift your head slightly off the mat, tuck the chin into the chest to stretch your neck nice and long. And then slowly lower your head back down. Seeing if you can find a nice, comfy, long neck. And if it feels crimped and crinkly, just try that again. Challenge yourself to extend the neck and see if you can plant it in a comfy, long position on the mat. And just take a few moments here to again observe the breath. How has it changed since the beginning of class? And then we're going to bring both our knees into the chest, feet off the mat, and we'll give ourselves a little hug. You want to curl up and see how close can my nose get to my knees. You want to roll around a little. Do that. And then we're going to roll back down. Keep your right shin into your chest with your hand and plant your left foot on the mat. Just tuck it in here for a moment. And then paying attention to your low back. Is your low back flat against the mat? And then slowly start to move your foot out, your left foot out, until your back starts to arch off the mat. That's where you want to stop. And some of you may get to your heel down on the mat, but if you notice your back is starting to arch and pull away, be honest with yourself. We don't want that at this time. We want a flat back, a back that's connected to the ground. So then move your foot back to where you can flatten your low back to the mat. We're just practicing some awareness while we're working on neutralizing our spine. Then bring both knees back to your chest. Keep the left shin into your chest. Plant the right foot on the ground. Observe your back connecting with the mat. And then slowly slide your right foot down. So you're slowly extending that right leg only until your back wants to lift off, and then you're gonna stop. So we're not looking for a shape. We're not extending our leg just to say we're extending the leg. We want our back to remain in contact with the mat. So we can neutralize that spine so it's not arching or hollow. And then we'll bring both knees back into the chest. Set both feet on the floor. And we're going to spend 1 minute in quiet. And you can do that with the feet on the floor. Maybe you want to have them partially out. If you're at home, maybe you want to stick a pillow under the knees. If you extend the legs all the way down to final rest, can that be a comfy place? No arch, no hollow. And all together, let's exhale the air from our lungs. Inhale deep. Exhale like a slow leaky tire. And if you check in with where your body is connecting with the mat, maybe notice where you're pulling away and where you're sinking. If you have lots of areas where you pull away, I want you to take another deep inhale. Hold at the top, and then slowly exhale through your mouth. And in this 40 minutes, we've worked on our mobility, we've worked on some strength building, some back bending. And now it's time to give our body and mind a chance to rest. So if the silent part yoga is not your fave, maybe you want to just say to yourself in your head, now I'm inhaling, now I'm exhaling. Just for the next minute. And when you're ready to move again, begin to gently wiggle those toes, wiggle those fingers, rotate ankles and wrists. Reach those arms up overhead and stretch fingertips to toes. Favorite stretch. And then we'll plant one foot on the mat, then the other. Roll on over to your side body, staying here just for a moment. And take a moment here to think of one thing that makes you uniquely you. Know that you are enough, exactly how you are. And then we're gonna take this top hand and we're gonna press it into the ground and come on up to a seat, keeping those eyes closed. Roll those shoulders back. Allow those vertebrae to stack up nice and tall, just like Lego. Do a slow scan from the top of your head, and the tips of your toes. How has today's practice affected your muscles and your tissues and your thoughts? Bring those hands to heart center. Tuck your chin. And all together we'll take a deep inhale. Long exhale. Letting today's practice go. Thank you for another lovely Thursday practice. I hope to see you all next week or on the replays. As always, if you have any questions or comments, you can message us at Wellness. And have a lovely afternoon.